What you doing? Chilling? Oh, I see. You wanna know something? There are another living things other than fishes in this lake.
Huh? Another things? Jang.
So, you wanna know? Sure or not? So, you wanna know more about this lake? You know, it's getting darker here. Let me change it. So, you're awake. You know, there are other living creatures in this lake other than fishes. It is called a small organism named Protista. Water moles, protozoa, and algae are the family of them. It is under the eukaryote domain. And amazingly, Protista has 4 common features, which are modes of nutrition, diversity of protists, habitats, and interactions. Wanna know more? Follow me. Hey, watch it here, okay? You know, for the first part of nutrition of Protista, there are 3 types of algae that they have. First, autotroph, which is the basic one for Protista to produce its own food. Other than that, there are some of them that produce foods by doing heterotroph, which by digesting their foods. But at some point, most of them switching their modes differently according to its time, which they turn into heterotroph and sometimes they turn into autotroph. It is called the mixotroph. For the second part, which is the diversity of protists, unlike the other eukaryotic cells, they also contain nuclei, and for example, and they also have membrane enclosed organelles such as mitochondria. But do you know that some of them were unicellular and multicellular? But sometimes they also form some colonies and live with each other. For the third part, most protists are free living, but some of them were correlation with another organisms, such as they have mutualism, parasitism, and commensalism. In terms of parasitism, they seems to have pathogens, but some of them were really important for animals and plants. But in terms of reproductions, they reproduce sexually and sexually. And I guess that's it. Fuck. Come here. You know, most of the protists live in the ocean, lakes and ponds. And for the surfaces, some of them live in the rocks, like that. But parasitic protists live in the other body fluids.
Are you talking about Protista?
Yeah.
Well, I know something about Protista too. Do you know about classification of Protista? No? Let me tell you. So now let me explain to you about the classification of protists. The classification of protists are evolving right now, and there are two types of research, which is molecular analysis of the gene for small subunit or ribosomal RNA and other nuclear genes. And the second one is ultrastructure data revealed by electron microscopy. So the diversity of molecular and ultrastructure data suggests that protists are paraphyletic. So now let's recap on how do eukaryotes evolve. As we all know that eukaryotes evolve by serial endosymbiosis hypothesis, which assumes that organelles might have originated from symbiotic relationship between larger cells and smaller bacteria. So the first one is mitochondria. Mitochondria might have originated from aerobic bacteria, while chloroplasts might have originated from cyanobacterium within a host cell. So currently, eukaryotes are classified into 5 informal supergroups. They are archaeoplastids, excavates, commaviolates, rhizarians, and unicorn. So now, in this video, we will only gonna talk about algae and protozoa. So algae is plant-like protists. They do photosynthesis to produce their own food, while there is protozoa. Protozoa, they resemble animals in their way of getting food. So now, let's get to know more about algae.
Are you guys ready to learn about algae? Okay, let's get started. Algae is the plural word of the singular term alga. It contains chlorophyll and other pigments like carotenoids and phycobilioproteins, which capture light energy for photosynthesis. That's the reason why algae considered as plant-like, but they lack of many other structures of true plant. For example, algae do not have leaf, stem, or roots. Many algae exist as unicellular, colonial, or multicellular. Algae are usually found in a range of aquatic habitats in both salt and freshwater or on the surface of moist salts or rocks. The algae cells also have cell walls that usually made of cellulose, vacuoles, and sometimes flagella for mobility. There are two major phyla in algae, which is phylum Chlorophyta and phylum Phaeophyta. Phylum Chlorophyta are known as green algae. Many species are aquatic, but some are terrestrial and can be found in moist soil. They can be unicellular, multicellular, colonial, and synocytic. These species have chlorophyll A and B and stop weight as starch in their plastids by convert sunlight to starch. For example, Chlamydomonas and Volvox. Let's start with Chlamydomonas. Chlamydomonas is a unicellular organism in spherical or pear shape with two anterior flagella that it used to swim. Chlamydomonas also have eye spot and also known as the stigma. It is located at the anterior end of the Chlamydomonas to receive light that used to have direct swimming. Chlamydomonas chloroplast is big in size and cup-shaped. It contains pyranode where starch is synthesized. Next is Volvox. Volvox is a colonial green algae. It hollow sphere that contains 500 to 50,000 cells called a colony or column. It also has eye spot. The eye spot is on the front side or the north pole side of the Volvox to allow it know where the sunlight is coming from so that it can swim towards it. Each species of Volvox obtains their food through photosynthesis.
So Volvox can reproduce asexually or sexually. Asexual colonies have reproductive cells known as gonidia, which produce small daughter cells, and they are eventually released from the parent as they mature. While in sexual colonies, Volvox produces male and female gametes, which the smaller male gametes will swim to larger stationary female gametes and fertilize them. This will create a zygote that can stay dormant until the condition is right for them to develop into a new colony.
The second major phyla in algae is phylum Phaeophyta. Phaeophyta are known as brown algae due to their characteristic brown color. They exhibit the brown color because of the presence of the golden brown pigments fucoxanthin. They primarily found on cold and coastal water, and these brown algae also have chlorophyll A and C as well as carotenoids, which contribute to their coloration. One of the examples is fucus. Fucus are commonly found on rocky shores. Now let's get into the structure of fucus. The first one is thallus. Thallus is the main body of fucus. Next one is hopas. Hopas is a root-like structure that anchors the algae to maintain a fruitful hoop. Next is type. Type is stem-like structure that support and withstand from wave action. Next is blade. Blade is a leaf-like structure that carry out photosynthesis, air bladders that keep fucus floating, and the last one is receptacle. Receptacle is essential reproductive structure made of in fucus, enabling the production and release ligaments.
Let us now talk about protozoa. So, members of protozoa are unified as heterotrophic, and some of them are mesotrophic mode of nutrition. So, they are generally motile, and nearly all of them possess of flagella, cilia, and pseudopodium that make them easier to navigate in their aqueous habitat. Okay, let us now continue with classification of protozoa. Protozoa can be classified into 4 phyla, which is Phylum Euglenophita, Phylum Rhizopoda, Phylum Ciliophora, and Phylum Apicomplexa, which is we can give them examples such as Euglena, Amoeba, Paramecium, and Plasmodium. Now, for the first classification of protozoa, which is the phylum Euglenophita, which is the small freshwater organism, and most of them are photosynthetic and some lack of chloroplast, which is they can ingest and absorb their food. And they actually have mitochondria and lack of cell wall. They have the special region of chloroplast called pyrenoid, and the pyrenoid produce the unusual type of carbohydrate that called paramylon. And they also have 2 flagella, which have the unequal length and the eye spot. The contractile vacuole can remove excess water. For the second one is the phylum Rhizopoda, which the protists that use the false feet, which is we call as pseudopodia, to locomotion and to capture prey. So they are actually heterotrophic, which feeds on wide range of bacteria, algae, and some other protists. One of the example of phylum Rhizopoda is Amoeba proteus, and they actually have 3 types of vacuole, which is digestive vacuole, which helps in digesting food particle, and next is contractile vacuole, which helps in remove excess water from the body so that the amoeba does not burst. And next is food vacuole, which helps in ingestion, storage, and the excretion of excess water. For the third one is phylum Ciliophora, which is the most complex protozoan. One of the examples is Paramecium species that have fixed body shape, and the body of Paramecium are fully covered with rows of cilia. Cilia is used for swimming, and it is built in synchronized pattern over the body surface. And they ingest their body by sweeping into oral groove down a gullet, and they eliminate their waste through anal pulp. They have 2 different nuclei, which is macronucleus, which helps in metabolism and growth, and the next one is micronucleus, which help in sexual reproduction. Okay, for the last classification of protozoa, which is the phylum Apicomplexa, a large group of parasitic spore-forming protists. The example of it is Plasmodium species. It is lack of specific structure for locomotion, but instead they move by flexing. The phylum Apicomplexa is named after their apical complex of microtubule that enable them to penetrate and attach to the tissue of their host.
So, what did you get from this journey?
What did I get from this journey?
Wait.
Whoa. So what I learned from protists is that they play a basic role in our food chain. They provide food, and oxygen to the organisms. For example, phytoplankton algae fix carbon in sunlight surfaces via photosynthesis. Next, food source. Like seaweed, for example, they are important source of food that may be used to overcome food shortages in the world and provide essential nutrients. For now, the disadvantages of protists is that first is eutrophication. Eutrophication is usually the result with algae bloom or enhanced algae growth. The sources are usually from fertilizers applied to agricultural fields, erosions of soil containing nutrients, and sewage treatment plants discharges. Next, red tides. Red tides are commonly named as estuarians. They produce large quantities of neurotoxins that attack the nervous systems and kill fish. Humans that eat these shellfish may suffer from paralytic shellfish poisoning. And lastly, for human health, the virus Plasmodium, which is caused by malaria in humans, can be transmitted through a female mosquito bite that can attack a normal human being. Well, that's it for now, guys. Can I enjoy my sunset now, Adam? Alright, let's go.